Happy Friday and happy Fridays with Fidelman. I'm Cheryl Fidelman, the Conscious Codependence Coach. And today's topic is codependence and indigo children. Codependence and indigo children. If it's an unfamiliar term, indigo children are people, it's a new age term that it seems like a good amount of people identify with it. If you're somebody who feels like you may tap into different frequencies than other people do, or you're spiritually gifted, you're psychically gifted, you're creatively gifted, you have a deeper amount of, you feel like you have a deeper amount of empathy maybe than others, that you are, and additionally, I think what comes with this indigo sense or identity is that there's an outcastness to it. There's feeling on the outside of sort of the status quo or energy bubble or frequency that a lot of people live at, because you feel like you're outside of that frequency, not necessarily above it, but just you're on a different wavelength. And you may be hearing, seeing, sensing things that you may not feel are common. So codependence and indigo children. And this is kind of reminiscent or an add-on to videos that I put out like a while ago, like codependence steals our wisdom, or codependence represses our genius or steals our genius, or something like that. So it's kind of in the same realm as those things. So, all right, here we go. Please like or subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much for listening, and here it is. I think that whether or not you identify as an indigo child or an indigo adult, codependence will steal the specialness of you. It steals the specialness of all of us. And I also think that, I'll say more about that, but I also think that we confuse codependence with something like indigo. Or we confuse codependence with something like having magical powers or special kinds of empathy. Or we confuse codependence with being an empath. There's a difference between being an empathetic empath and a codependent empath. Because we can't fully be expressed in all the uniqueness that we are when we're, let's say, hooked on proving ourselves. We can't be fully expressed in all of the things that we can. We don't even have the room or the space to feel all that we feel and sense all that we can feel from all the different frequencies that we may feel them if we are living a trauma-based life. If we are focused on proving our identity. If we're focused on trying to understand other people as much as possible so that we then can serve them and prove our goodness and not be abandoned, if we're hooked into somebody else's reality more than our own reality, then our magic powers are limited, our genius is limited, our wisdom is limited, and most importantly, our intimacy with ourselves and another person is limited when we are not looking through our indigo eyes. And that might sound like an eccentric thing to say, but another way of saying that is when we are not looking through the eyes of our true selves, when we are looking through the eyes of our codependent lenses, our codependent filters, which are muting, or what's another word for not being sharp? Dulling, dulling the magic that we can provide, dulling our imagination, dulling our playfulness. All of these things that are dulling the love and intimacy that we can provide, because there's all these filters on top of how we're being, and all these filters on top of our natural gifts of imagination, our natural gifts of love and compassion and any other frequency that you may occupy. You know, there are a lot of people who feel like they are connected with the spirit realm, or they're connected with some creative, imaginative realm, or the realm of music, or the realm of art. But codependence is keeping them from their creative, artistic, and or spiritual expression. And what comes with this for a lot of us is this sense or feeling or identity of being an outcast, because we think differently, or because we have a little, our view, our point of view is a little bit askew, or where we feel like we're tapped into things that may seem awkward or weird to other people. But that outcast identity isn't true. It's just as much a part of your traumatic identity than your codependence is. And for a lot of us, myself included, the outcast thing can come from many different places, being bullied, but also could come from the fact that we had these, you might say, extra sensory gifts, but our parents or guardians couldn't see them, or didn't know what to do with them, or didn't understand them, or shunned them, or denied them, or set them aside in some way, shape, or form, which gave us the feeling of, I don't belong here, nobody's seeing who I actually am, so I have to dumb myself down or reconfigure myself so that to be on the same frequency of my parents or guardians or my siblings or my friends, so that I can have this experience of being gotten and understood and belonging. And so there's a piece of this indigo identity for some of us where it's like not belonging, but that is simply an affect of our youth. Because the thing is that the more we accept and embrace and surrender to our gifts, talents, and passions, the more we are accepted by ourselves, and belonging just is like we just belong. There is no belonging or not belonging, because there is no belonging or not belonging for anybody. It's an illusion. We all just simply are here. We belong. Okay, so all of a sudden the lighting changed, and I'm not sure how to adjust to it, so we'll just do it like this. So if you are in a codependent relationship, or you may not feel like you're in a fully 100% codependent relationship, but there are moments where you are demonstrating codependent habits or behaviors, those moments are stealing your magic. And if you're in a codependent relationship, most importantly, if you're in a codependent relationship with yourself, and we discuss that further, what that means in my work, then your magic is muted. Your uniqueness, your indigo-ness, whatever you want to call it, your talents, gifts, and passions, the messages and frequencies and specialness and uniqueness that only you can reach. I think that we all have our own unique frequency that is only reachable and surrendered toable by us. That only you can speak your language. Only I can speak my language. And for you to be able to speak your language, I think codependence recovery is massively important. If you feel like codependence is one of the things that is muting your magic. So most of you know that our free and monthly Conscious Codependence class, which happens on the last week of every month, which will be not next week, but the following week. So next week I'm going to talk about arrested development and codependence and the regressiveness of codependence. But I want to, and usually our free class covers the previous Fridays with Fidelman, but I'm going to talk about this as well. So our next free and monthly class, we're going to talk about codependence and indigo-ness and also arrested development. So it'll be this week and next week covered in our free and monthly in 2 weeks. I love you. Thank you for bringing my thoughts and theories into your world, and happy healing, and life is now. I'm trying to go with the light here. Okay, bye.